Hey, this is Russ from the Infectious Groove Podcast, and you've made the fantastic life choice of listening to Beer in Front with Dave.
This is Beer in Front, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Every week I'll talk about a beer that maybe we've forgotten along the way while we get those check-ins and badges. Some weeks I'll talk about a new beer that has potential to be a classic. Being the Chicago beer guy, I'll also talk about craft beer news and great craft beer in the city of Chicago. And remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. That's Beer in Front, and it's coming up now. Welcome to the March 9th edition of Beer in Front, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris, and I thank you for listening. Happy birthday, Mom. On the show this week, I'm going to have Tahitian Noir from Prairie Artisan Ales as the beer in front, and I also found just today the new remastered Samuel Adams Boston Lager, and I'll talk about that as well. I'm on a new shift at work, and I have weekends off, and I am now at the main ticket counter at O'Hare instead of customer service back at the gate area. Let me tell you, what a huge difference. Back then, when people missed their flights because they were late, that was generally the airline's fault or weather. Now, when people come up to the ticket counter and they're late, you're just late. And I just love how everybody thinks, well, it's not my fault and you should hold the flight. It's not my fault I was late. It was the Uber driver, or it was I forgot my meds at home and I had to go back to get it. So it's not my fault and you should hold the flight for me. Don't worry about the 1,000 people in that TSA line. You could just let me to the front. It's a huge difference, but I'm getting used to it, and it's been fun. The pizza episode is coming along nicely. I have one more interview to do. I'm editing everything right now, and that episode should come out on the 22nd of March, so look for that. I want to thank everybody that listens and watches over on YouTube, TikTok, and if you're a Patreon member, I thank you as well. If you want to support the show, I would love that. Head over to patreon.com/beerinfront for more info. I mentioned YouTube and TikTok. I think that's where most of my reviews outside of the beer in front are going to be from now on, instead of having, the beers I had this week. Generally, I rattle those off so fast, no one really pays attention. I do put a lot of stuff up over on YouTube and quick little TikTok videos that are about a minute long, and I talk briefly about the beer that I'm having. I think from now on, most of that type of stuff is going to be over in video format. So please head over and subscribe over on YouTube and TikTok, and I don't know, maybe I'll twerk or something if I get a lot of people that subscribe over on TikTok. I don't know. I'm a little old for TikTok, but, I think I could do some twerking if I had to.
Once upon a time.
Boring.
It was the best of times. It was the worst.
You got that right.
What's your problem?
We want new stories.
Hi, it's Frankie.
And Garrett. And we host the Ever Trending Story, a weekly podcast where we bring to life a fictional story created by our own minds and some of the hottest, craziest trends from the internet.
Find us wherever you download podcasts, and be sure to join the fun on social media at EverTrendingPod.
Be sure to check out Ever Trending Story wherever you listen to podcasts. In beer news this week, this has been around for a while, but I'm just hearing about it because, frankly, I'm old. But I guess the youngins have this thing called the Borg, and that stands for Blackout Rage Gallon. I've never heard of this, but I guess people are taking one of those gallon jugs of water It's filled half with water. You could pour up to a full bottle of vodka or something else in there, and then you add Gatorade or Pedialyte or Liquid IV, something like that to get your electrolytes up and give it a little flavor. And you walk around drinking this all day. I don't get it, but like some people are saying it's good, it's beneficial because ladies can, screw the cap on and they don't have to worry about somebody slipping some shit in their drink. But I don't know. I can't see walking around with a gallon of Borg in my hand all day. But if you do, I would like to hear from you. You may have read recently that former President Jimmy Carter is in hospice care, and I'm not going to get into a debate on his presidency, but one thing that he did which sparked the craft beer boom that we're all having right now, he signed H.R. 1377, which made it legal for Americans to brew beer at home. This was illegal up until then, so a lot of brewery owners, a lot of brewers got started in the late 70s when this became legal. So in a roundabout way, President Carter signing this bill brought us to where we are today. So Godspeed, Jimmy Carter, and thank you for everything. Saw over at beerconnoisseur.com that Stone, they're unveiling a new Patio Magic Double IPA for the springtime. And this is using Sauvignon Blanc extract and some new hop variety. So that should be interesting. I'm a big fan of Sauvignon Blanc as a wine, so I'm definitely going to check out this new one from Stone, and that's called Patio Magic. I was at my grocery store the other day and saw that there's a new flavor of the hard Mountain Dew. This one's called Live Wire, and I think it was like an orangey, citrusy type of flavor. I couldn't grab it. I didn't put it in the cart. I just had a bad experience with the one that I tried, but I'm assuming sooner or later I'm going to try this bizarre Live Wire from Mountain Dew. Currently in California and Florida, and soon to be all over the United States, you'll be seeing Cerveza Palma. This is a Cuban-style lager that, according to Artisanal Imports, this has a rich golden color. The taste will be refreshing with subtle aromas and flavors described as grassy and citrusy. So look for Cerveza Palma near you. And finally, over at Brewbound, I read an article about Harpoon. Harpoon yearly puts out like a mix pack, and it's only available, I think, out east. I've never seen it here, or I would have grabbed it, but they put out a mix pack of various Dunkin' Donuts flavored beer. Well, now they're coming out with a sticky bun stout that has real sticky buns in the beer. And I'm hoping it's filtered out, but if you're in Massachusetts, you could pick up Sticky Bun Stout from Harpoon.
Hey, this is Grab and Brisket Podcast. Join us every Monday where we talk about the latest trends in barbecue, interviews with world top pitmasters, celebrity cooks,
like Wee Man from Jackass.
and musicians.
Like Rich O'Toole?
So check us out. We do beer reviews, barbecue fails.
So many fires.
Dude, a lot of people just burn their houses down for no reason.
We also talk about cocaine hippos versus Beth Gators,
Learn how to make some tailgate gravy.
altercations with Texas Rangers.
People throwing Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, so check out grabthebrisket.com for podcast info, viral social media posts, and so much more.
Be sure to check out Grab 'em in the Brisket, the show that always makes me hungry. Listen wherever you check out a podcast. All right, the beer that's in front of me today is from Prairie Artisan Ales. They're in Oklahoma. This is the Tahitian Noir. This is barrel-aged with Tahitian vanilla. It clocks in at 13.4%. I'm looking forward to this, so let's crack it open. Oh, it pours really nice. Beautiful. Like light brown foam. Good carbonation here. This smells outstanding. I wish there was some way we could put smell-o-vision or something through a podcast, because this smells great. I get a lot of bourbon notes to here. I get a little vanilla on the back of it, but no, this smells just absolutely killer. Oh, yeah. That's phenomenal. Wow. I get a lot of the bourbon here. The vanilla brings up the back. It's a little subtle, the vanilla at the end, but I just poured it, so maybe if it warms up a little bit in my hand, the vanilla notes will come through. This is absolutely killer. I get a little, maybe like raisiny tartness in the middle of this as well. This is just an outstanding barrel-aged beer. Yeah, that's a winner. If you see this one, or if you see anything from their Noir series, or actually anything from Prairie, I've had stuff from them before I've really liked. I'm not going to lie, they sent me this, and I would love it. I would pay for this. So if I saw this in the store, I would buy it. I would put it in the cart. This is just an absolutely phenomenal beer. If you like barrel-aged stouts, look up Tahitian Noir from Prairie Artisan Ales. It is absolutely outstanding. Well, I had the podcast pretty much all done, and then I'm at the grocery store and I finally see the brand new Sam Adams, which isn't new, but they've updated the classic Boston Lager, which is supposed to be cleaner tasting. So I picked it up. So let's have the remastered Samuel Adams Boston Lager. Well, it looks the same. Still has that beautiful, nice golden color to it. The smell is really good. I really don't notice anything different in the aroma. The taste is different, and I'm trying to put my finger on it. They say this is a brighter, easier to drink beer, and I think maybe I tend to agree with them, but it is a little different. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not a fan of this. It's not a bad beer. Don't get me wrong. This is definitely not a drain pour. I think just of the two, I prefer the original Sam Adams. Now, the recipe is exactly the same. I guess they just changed the brewing process. And also, to be 100% fair, Sam Adams, in my opinion, is 1,000 times better on tap than it is in a can or in a bottle. This is in a bottle. So I think I'm going to have to try Sam Adams somewhere in an airport bar or like a Chili's or a Fridays, one of those types of places that you could always find Sam Adams on tap, and see if I notice the difference here. This isn't bad at all, but I think sometimes I don't want cleaner. I want a little bit more oomph in my beer, and I think this is what's lacking in this remastered. Yeah, this is a little too easier to drink for me. I think I would go back to the old recipe, but, what do I know? I'm just a clown in Chicago who drinks a lot. Next week on the show is going to be episode 150. So I'm going to talk about beers that have been sent to me by some good friends of mine. I'm going to have stuff from Las Vegas, from Pennsylvania, from St. Louis area. Look for that next week, and in 2 weeks will be the pizza episode. I've talked to a lot of friends of mine from all across the country talking about pizza from their areas. I have a few people on that talking about beer pairings with pizza. So that should be a good episode if you like pizza. That will be coming out in 2 weeks. And that's going to wrap things up for this week's edition of Beer in Front, part of the Odd Pods Media Network. I thank everyone for listening. If you want to get a hold of me, you could email me, dave@beerinfront.com. You could find me on all the social media platforms at Beer in Front. I thank you very much for listening. I will see you next week on the show, and remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet.